Welcome, mountain bikers. Thanks for tuning in to Vital MTB's The Inside Line podcast. And before we go any further, I want to thank you, the listener. We're starting our 6th year of The Inside Line. And without you being there to listen, to watch when we do video, there'd be no point. Wouldn't be any fun. So thank you so much. Stoked to share today's show with you. It's a 2-part episode with the Santa Cruz Syndicate. We're going to kick it off with Jackson Goldstone and Greg Minnaar today. Next Wednesday, we'll have a big team episode with Nina Hoffman, Jackson, Greg, Laurie Greenland. We even get Steve Peat in there. So that drops next Wednesday. I had the chance to meet them at Fox headquarters in Irvine, California a couple weeks ago, where they were picking out their kits for 2023, and they were debuting the Fox Union mountain bike shoe. In addition to you viewers out there, the Inside Line couldn't run without the help from Maxxis Tires, Santa Cruz Bicycles, and JensenUSA.com. If you use coupon code INSIDELINE, all one word at checkout, when you're at Jensen USA, you can save 10% off qualifying items. Have I said thank you yet, listeners, everyone? Stoked. Gonna have a good year this year. Got some fun stuff coming up. Hope you enjoy today's show and stay tuned for part 2 next Wednesday. Here we go. All right, Jackson, I wanted to ask you this because in Andorra, during your POV run, you hucked that bridge at the end.
Yeah.
Like the big step down.
In the preview, yeah.
No one saw it. No one knew if you're going to do it again. I was texting Sven, Lawler, Bowman. Like, what did he do? Is he going to do it again? Like, go get that on film. In your run, it said it was the first time you did it. Did you decide not to do it anymore? It was ridiculous.
Yeah, so that section in Andorra was pretty weird because you're coming down after the run, you're a little bit fatigued, like it was very bottom of the run. And it was like a roll, and then you drop off, and then there was another roll, and then a big G-out onto the bridge.
How steep is this finish?
This is pretty steep. This is gnarly.
And
And the bridge was like,
yeah, the bridge was super, super tight. So my thinking was, if I gap the bridge, I could land earlier and then set up myself better for the roller, and so I wouldn't G-out as hard. And yeah, it was a pretty steep bridge, and I was like, oh, if the bridge wasn't there, everyone would do it. So, or you would have to do it, right? So I was just like, I don't know, if I just like do a little pull, and then I'd land earlier than where everyone else was landing. But it only really worked out in that GoPro course preview thing, because that was early on before it was pretty chewed up and destroyed. So yeah, it ended up being pretty big holes at the bottom. And it was a little too much, but
Dude, that was insane. When that came out, I was like, dude, he jumped that?
It was pretty cool. Like I kind of just did it, like I decided to do it off, like as I was going off the lip, pretty much. Like I was coming in, and it was just like, oh, if I just pull up instead of hit the brakes. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Sweet. Cool. Let's talk about smashing your neck at Val di Sole.
yeah, let's go for it. I thought Taj Malik did a great job illustrating what happened.
Yeah, for sure. Since you've watched it, have you learned anything about what happened? Like, or was it just freak accident? Just go over the bars and...
I would say, I remember everything from it. I wouldn't say it was a freak accident. I think it was a stupid mistake on my part. Like the little ledge that I was gapping off the side of the rock, I just pushed down a bit too low. And if I was going faster, and I probably would have gone over it. But instead it just clipped the side and down she went.
Does stuff like that give you pause now that you're older?
No, not really. No. I was a bit nervous. I haven't really gained full feeling in some parts of my body, like my skin. Like it's probably like 78% feeling through it. But that's like the more severe side of the damage. Everything else seems really good. And it was probably about a week ago. I was quite nervous initially, like getting back on a bike or what should I do. I thought, well, if I'm going to get back on a bike, I've got this motorbike boys weekend coming up. Maybe a motorbike would be a nice way to ease into it. You're a bit more upright. You're not like leaning over the front end with your head looking up. So, and it's all of a sudden that week I was doing PT and and just somehow I just felt a little bit more confident about everything. And then I went to the track, did a few laps, and enjoyed riding again, and then came over to Santa Cruz and did my first mountain bike ride, and just that wasn't as easy. Just being led over, you don't realize how far forward you are, and looking up, and I just had a little dip that I G'd out it and tweaked the neck a bit, but
Like you could feel it.
yeah. But other than that, I feel good. I think the last, I spent yesterday afternoon with Laurie Greenland, a great chiropractor, and I came out of there just feeling like pumped to race again. So yeah, I don't think I don't know. I don't think I'm spooked just yet.
After all these years, do you get nervous in the start gate?
Yeah, I get nervous every start gate.
No matter what?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've tried to calm down a bit and relax in the start gate, but deep down, you're really nervous.
Yeah, okay.
It's a part of the excitement, like, you have to push it so hard, and you don't want to lose, and you don't want to push it too hard and crash. And so there's just so much on the line that when you get down to the bottom, it's like an absolute, it's just this big stress reliever. Just, the adrenaline's pumping. It's a great feeling to finish a race, but at the top of a race, it's pretty nervous.
Have you ever not been nervous? Like, if you weren't, would you think something's wrong?
Yeah, if I'm not nervous, it's normally going to be a crap race. Yeah, because I'm normally off the back if I'm not nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that topic, with so many years under your belt, are you able to see what might trigger a slump or like a challenging kind of run? Or does that stuff just like sneak up on you? Like if you're feeling a certain way that you're just like, meh, this isn't it. Like, are you able to sort those kind of things out?
Yeah, now it was a lot harder in the past, because we only got timed in like the finals, and that was it. And so I remember like finishing a Max's Cup in Europe, going, I finished 12th. There's no way. Like, I had a great run, so I went back and walked the track just to make sure that like I hadn't missed something. Like there must have been a line that someone else was on. But nowadays you have time training, so you kind of know if you're on pace or not, and then you go into qualified, and then you go into the final. So you got a few sessions that kind of pick up the pace if you're off the back. But hey, sometimes it happens. You get in that time training, and you push hard for like a good run, and you a couple of seconds back, you're like, whoa, I need to step things up.
And how do you deal with that?
You just got to step it up. I mean, get off the brakes. It's not like, although it seems like it's complex, and it is complex with all these different things going on and different lines and different bike setup and different. The other day, you just got to go faster, and that's what you got to do.
Are there sections of track where you have to open it up and you're nervous to do that?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's.
Is there any track in particular, like section?
Let me think of one. Lenzerheide, you've made it like you've done 80% of the track, and you come down and you've got to go through this like wall section. And if you go in the outside lane, there's like quite a big rock that you almost could jump off, and then there's like a gap. Honestly, it's like this big, and like you've got to thread the needle, but it's so far, it's like right down the bottom of the track. So, like you've got to hit it pinned. So either you're going to thread the needle, or you're like hit that outside line and jump back across and then try and hold it tight on the way out. I mean, you probably hesitate all the way through training, through practice, through qualies, but in that final, you're totally off the brakes. You just got to go for it. And then that's an incredible feeling when you make it. And it's normally quite painful when you don't.
Are you switched off in a situation like that?
Oh no, you totally switched on. You've got to be like so focused, super focused. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Lenzerheide's one of those tracks where it's quite high speed, and there's even higher up, like into the midway, there's like a road gap off like a ledge, a wooden bridge. Wooden bridge is probably like a meter wide, maybe not even, but you're coming down through this like really rough section, and you slam a rut, which is literally this narrow with a root in, and it pushes you onto the bridge, and that's another section where you you 120% committed to this little rut to put you onto the bridge to then jump a road gap. So there's normally quite a few sections like that throughout most tracks, but wow, it's exciting. It's exciting when you do it, but you don't do it. I personally don't do it all week. I normally save those for like a special occasion, like a quali or a final, for sure.
To me, as an outsider, not being there, a track like Val di Sole, is it getting too gnarly? Like too rough on the bike and the body?
I think the layout of the track was great. The problem they've had is like the last 2 summers have been so dry. And so all the dirt and loam has just turned to dust. And so you would have like a route section and, the holes were this deep. Now they're twice as deep. And it's powdered, so you can't really see how deep it is. And so that was a bit of the problem, that the course just got destroyed because it was just so dry. They're going to have to do something. There was just too many big crashes, too many people hurt. It just rated super physical, and just awkward really to ride. Yeah.
All right, looking at the geometry on your bike and kind of going back, might have been like a year or 2 ago whenever you had the custom dropouts.
Yeah.
On your chainstay. Did you kind of go too big and long on the geo and kind of pull it back in?
So I
Can you
did
talk
yeah.
about some of those experiences?
So I was going bigger and bigger, trying to be more centered in the bike. And I got to the end of that season, and it just made it really hard. When you got such a long swing arm, it put so much force through the front end of the bike. So the fork was really hard. Under braking, it just throws all the weight up front and through the steep section. So it definitely felt better like on the faster sections and cornering, but it definitely had some cons to it. And so I finished the season. I do like a full assessment of like where we are on the bike, where I am in my physical condition. And I was like, shit, I've actually got some weaknesses here. There's injury from a shoulder injury in 2001, and that's never really healed properly. And then I had all these dislocated shoulders, and so it's been a bit of a mess. And so I was like, I changed trainers to Alan Norway, and the first thing we did was we had to try and like sort my posture out. And straight away, once my posture improved, I could go back to a shorter bike. Okay. And it was like 2020, the COVID year. And suddenly I was going back to the standard size V10, and I felt really centered in the bike and really, really good. So I went backwards on the bike to a shorter bike and worked more on my body, trying to get my body in a better position and better physique. Okay. I've let that go a little bit these last couple of months, but I'll be building back.
I was going to say, really, like you had a choice, right? All right. Speaking of 2001 Greg, now what would you tell him if you went back to 2001?
I was always quite rushed to do stuff. I've always panicked, and although you don't always listen to people around you, there's always a lot of sound, and that sound kind of transfers into altering how you think and adjust stuff. And I probably should have just gone with my own feeling. Like, I was feeling great, keep racing. Instead of people going, what are you going to do after racing? What did you study? And I'm like, well, I didn't really study much and didn't really finish high school when I was racing, And so I should have just kept racing because, once I've kind of pushed everything back off and put it back up to some of the people in the businesses, I've focused more on racing and I've enjoyed it more and my results have come back. So I think I should have just remained more focused through my career. Although I did. I was just juggling quite a few things through my 30s. So
okay,
yeah.
Where'd that sort of business savvy come from? Because it seems like you made smart decisions in that realm. Not looking for details or anything, but it seems like you planned and set yourself up well for post racing. It's like where did that influence come from?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it came from a family where my father worked really hard to just get me racing. I've seen that work ethic. I've seen him work his 9-to-5 job and then have some sidelines to be able to afford to be able to have some money so that we could race. I think that, seeing that has helped me understand that you need to work hard. So, I've done my training and I decided to get into businesses and put that extra time into business. And so maybe it got a little bit too much at some point, but yeah, I think it's, I was just really fortunate, right place at right time. Yeah. Cool.
For 2023, what's your role with like UCI and all that stuff?
So yeah, I'll still be the riders rep on the UCI commission. Yeah.
And you've been through it all. You've been through pre-Freecaster, Rocky Roads. You've been around for whatever happened there, Red Bull stuff. What are you thinking about next year so far?
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talking points, but I think we're in a great place in mountain biking. I think it's nice we come into like a bigger platform to just be able to present to more people. Red Bull did an excellent job. They took us, I remember the numbers on Freecaster were, I want to say it was like 140,000 viewers.
Okay.
And that's when it would crash and, break things. And Red Bull took that to, I don't know, close on 1 million. And it's incredible. So, now we're on a bigger platform, Discovery's in, and it's just going to expose the sport to just a larger audience, which is cool. UCI are not event organizers, but they stepped up into it because they didn't have an event organizer to run the World Cup. So UCI for the last couple of years took it upon themselves to organize the World Cups and keep it going, which is really cool, And now with Discovery, they've got ESO coming in to do all the event organizing, which is great because they're event organizers. And then they've got a platform like Discovery to spill it out. So I think it's a great combination for the sport to now accelerate and blast off.
Okay. Do you think if not the first race, maybe the first season, like 23, there's going to be some growing pains and challenges?
I think there's going to be some challenges. I think Chris has made some smart moves to try and like keep things very similar to what they were, and then put in a test event so they can actually, iron out a few creases, which is great. It's great for the teams. It's going to be some good media, and then head into the first World Cup. So, I'm confident that it's going to work out well.
Okay, sweet. So One Life Crew still around?
One Life Crew's got quite a bit older, but they're still around. They still act like a bunch of hooligans. Yeah.
Do you ever get high pivot FOMO? Thinking about the bike you're riding versus what everyone else is doing? Do you ever?
Yeah, I feel really bad for them. Shame. They should try a VVP. It's incredible.
Nah.
No, the bike industry is like that. It's, as soon as you got a rider doing well, all of a sudden that bike's the best bike in the world. And, there's a lot to it, and I think some guys on the high pivot have had a good run. And, it works and they made it work well. So, it's definitely trending. But I think a lot of riders look to other riders to see what they're kind of doing. But there's a lot more than just the high pivot bike that's, blasting down. There's a rider behind there as well, making some decisions. There's some suspension stuff going on. And sometimes you just got to realize what you've got and ride it.
Do you feel like there's something to consistency with your bike and your build? I know you make tweaks to it per track, but like
you can get into a spin, hey? And I've been in a spin, and I think that's something in down where you start looking elsewhere, and that's the worst thing you can do because all of a sudden you need a high pivot bike, but the bike brand you ride doesn't make one. So you just got to take what you got and make it work.
Okay, quick random one. The fork was a Showa on your Honda, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that Showa from 05 versus a Fox 40 now.
I haven't compared them. I haven't ridden back to back, but I would imagine that Showa was pretty impressive. They said to me that the suspension on that bike was 45,000 euros. And that was 3 times more expensive for Showa to build my downhill suspension than it was for Ricky Carmichael's motocross suspension.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Just because like it's such small batch or something?
I don't know. I'd imagine because it's just really just a one-off. Whereas, probably in motor they probably build 100 forks. It's almost like a semi-production. So, yeah.
Okay. Was the white carbon one cooler than the black carbon one? Or was it Kevlar?
What was really cool was they made the stanch tubes out of carbon and then had them coated. Yeah. Which is something that we tested, and then it went into Formula One into MotoGP. And Matty Lecoin ended up doing a drop off some wall, and he broke the fork. So they were like, "Oh, it's too dangerous to ride." Meantime, he was just dropping off a wall, and so they took it out, and we ended up on, I think, aluminium staging tubes. So,
Okay.
but the car was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked super sweet. Thank you for everything you've done for mountain biking. Obviously, your career stands out, but you've helped make downhill mountain biking what it is today by being invested like you are. Appreciate that.
Hey, thank you, Smoey. Yeah,
And all the shit talk that goes on about ESO and UCI and all that stuff. It's fun to talk about, but you know what's going on. And
it is. I think people, we react quite strongly, and everything just works out anyway.
yeah,
Yep. It's I think they got some smart people behind the scenes.
Mhm.
It's gonna work well. I think everything's just it's just different. It's just people don't like change, and it's just change, and it's really not gonna be that big a change. I don't think, not initially, or maybe not even down the road. I don't know. But yeah, change is always different, but it's just change. Yeah.
and you've handled decades of it.
Yeah. Well, I know you speak to my fiance, she probably thinks I need to change. So,
Dude, perfect. That was sweet. Thanks so much.
hey, thanks, baby.
Yeah.